Hey guys, if you guys can recall the last video that I made about the meltdown, the 29-point meltdown that occurred with Colorado against Stanford, and I talked to you guys about how that's actually the greatest thing that could have happened to Colorado. It seems like what I talked about is coming true. Now, when I made that video, I wasn't aware of this information that I'm about to share with you guys right now. I did not know that one of the top recruits, he's a junior, and you guys have probably heard of it. His name is A.J. Hill. He's a 6'5" quarterback, great touch, great accuracy. He is I think he resides in Georgia, if I'm not, in Atlanta, some high school in Atlanta. And he was one of the top recruits for the 2025 class. I mean, he has the ticket to go to any school he wants, from Alabama to Georgia, anywhere that he wants. From the information that I have now, prior to that game that they got blown out, that they lost the lead. They were blowing out Stanford, but lost that lead. This kid was not really considering Colorado. I heard that he came to watch the game. I heard he was actually there during the blowout. Now, this goes back to what I talked to you guys before. I'm not a psychic or anything like that. I just know I used to be an athlete, and I'm just like you guys. I'm just thinking. I'm just using critical thinking skills. I mean, just think about the prime effect. If you're a young athlete, 16, 17, 18 years old, why would you not want to play for prime? It's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you want to? And if you couldn't play for him, I would want to go to the conference to play against him. Just to either beat him. If I can't join him, I want to beat him. Nothing vitriolic, nothing vile, just out of the spirit of competition, you would want to do that. So I talked to you guys about how that meltdown was the greatest thing that could have happened to Colorado, and it's coming to be true. What I said is actually coming to light. It's coming into manifestation. Believe it or not, A.J. Hill, I think right now he's probably 15 years old. By the time he becomes a senior, by the time he comes to Colorado, he'll still be 17. So he's a young one. He's a young junior. He's not a 17-year-old junior. I believe right now he's 15 years old. He has not grown into his man body yet. I saw some highlights of him online, and I've heard a lot of I wouldn't call them haters, because I think that a lot of times we throw that word around too casually. I think sometimes we should embrace critique. We should embrace people who have an opposing view than us. That's how we grow. If everyone is saying the same thing, there's no contention to expand. Just like if you go to the gym to work out, there has to be a degree of resistance there for you to expand your muscles. I take that same analogy as a parallelism and just apply it to life in general. So when somebody says something negative about Coach Prime, don't call them haters. It's okay. That's just an opportunity for Prime to grow. And that's an opportunity for you to grow as an onlooker, as an objective looker, not to take it personally. But there were some people talking about A.J. Hill who talked about his velocity, saying that he doesn't have velocity on his ball, like he doesn't throw the ball fast enough. He has great touch and accuracy. And I would argue and say that velocity is overrated. I would say velocity is overrated. You guys remember Jay Cutler? He used to be the quarterback for the Chicago Bears years ago. The guy had great velocity. Where is he at today? Look at Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was never known for velocity. Where is Peyton Manning today? So the point that I'm making is that accuracy and touch outweighs velocity. When a scout is looking at a quarterback, it's great for them to have velocity. It's a great skill. It's not even a skill. Velocity is more physicality, your strength, the ability to throw hard. That's not actually a skill. That's just your physical acumen. Okay, that's just your physical attributes and the ability for you to throw hard. What's skill-based is your ability to have touch and accuracy, and that's what A.J. Hill has. He's 6'5" right now, and he probably is going to get taller. He's probably not through growing. The guy's amazing. Right now, he's a junior. He's a top 4 quarterback in the country, I believe, and probably the top quarterback in his class. I could be wrong. If anybody has any information about that, please correct me. I'm not saying that I'm accurate in that. I could be wrong. If I'm mistaken, I apologize for that. But I know that the number 4 came up. Either he's number 4 in the country as a quarterback as a junior, which is crazy because he's not even a senior yet, or he's number 4 in his class. I'm not sure, but either way, he's a great quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's going to have the upside to him is great. And so the critique against him was that, oh, he doesn't have velocity. And I said he doesn't need velocity. I saw the highlights. Why do you need to throw hard if you don't need to? If you have accuracy, there's no need to throw hard. If you're throwing guys open, there's no need to throw hard. If you are trying to fit it into tight windows because you are late on your delivery, let's say you scan the field, right, and you want to wait till a guy's open before you throw it, then you're going to have the impetus or the compulsion to want to throw hard to get the ball to your receiver because you know you have a limited amount of space to get that ball to your receiver. But if you are cerebral, because most quarterbacks have to be cerebral, and you are thinking ahead of the defense, you're 1 or 2 steps ahead of the defense, you throw your guys open, and factor in the guy is 6'5". He does not need velocity. He can simply just throw over the line. He can throw over people. He can scan the field and see it and just drop the ball in there like he's dropping the ball into a bucket. So you guys should go watch his highlights. His name is AJ Hill. I think it's Antoine Hill. He goes by AJ Hill. And I saw some interviews. He talked about how when he went to the game, remember I told you guys, if athletes are watching the debacle of Colorado blowing that 29-point lead by halftime, it's not going to send recruits away. He was at the game. He was there. And he wants to come there. As a matter of fact, him going there and seeing that happen, he said it. He said, yeah, I was there at the game. And sooner than later, he ended up, because initially he was not committed to Colorado. He was just going there for a recruit visit, just visiting. He said, I'm going to just go to the game, see how the game goes, talk to the coach, talk to some of the players on the team, yada, yada, yada. Going through the motions of what recruits do when they go visit these campuses. He did that. He watched the team that he was considering going. He watched the school that he's considering going to play football for. He just watched them blow a 29-point lead. What did he do? Not only did he decommit from not that he never committed, but he was leaning towards Georgia. He was leaning towards Alabama. He was leaning towards those schools. But after going there to see what Prime and Colorado Buffaloes are doing, he was like, nah, I want to come here. I want you guys to think about that for a second. Meditate on that for a second. A young athlete. Conventional wisdom would say a young athlete goes to a game, a team that he's considering going to. He watches how the team that he's considering playing for blows a 29-point lead. So all of a sudden, the young recruit gets discouraged and he tells himself, hey, I don't want to go here anymore. This team sucks. They can't hold a lead. Nah. I told you guys, that's what cowards do. Young athletes that compete, that love competition, that have the mind of Prime. Remember, I talked about getting on that same frequency. He needs players like that. This was destined to happen. It was fate. So yet, AJ Hill says, nah, I want here. So initially, he's considering these schools. He's considering Colorado. He's considering Georgia. He's considering Alabama. He's probably considering Florida State. I don't know. He's considering a lot of schools because he has the ability to go anywhere he wants. He had not commit yet. He had not made a commitment to any of those schools. As I said, conventional wisdom would have you thinking that after he went to Colorado, he was done. He can put X. He can X out Colorado from the list and say, okay, I'm not going there. They blew a 29-point lead. They're not that good. No. AJ Hill goes there. He sees what happens. And sooner than later, he says, no, I'm going to commit. Oh, he's committed to Colorado now. It's not a maybe or he's considering. No, he's committed. And if you do some research on what he's done, he said that he will help recruit offensive linemen. That's the Prime effect. Prime doesn't even have to recruit anymore. His minions will. What did I tell you in the last video? I said that this is a movement. When he says we're coming, it's a metastasization. It's a replication. It's a ripple effect. It's sort of like an infectious disease that just touches the people that it needs to touch. And if you're already primed, no pun intended, if you're already primed with that DNA in you, because there are many primes out there. Prime is just a replica. He's just the emblem. He's just a blueprint. He is just the face of that certain type of it factor that a young athlete has to have. And Deion Sanders in his playing days had that. Here you have a top recruit that's a junior. He's not even a senior yet. He commits to Colorado and says, you know what? I'll do you one better. Not only will I commit, I'm going to help recruit. Now, anybody who's worked in education and anybody who's led people, if you're a leader of men or if you're a leader of kids or if you're a leader of anybody, sometimes they tell you that the best way to lead is to have peer-to-peer contact. What do I mean by peer-to-peer contact? So I'll give you an example. If I'm a school teacher and I'm teaching kids, right? I could talk all day about my expectations. But if I allow the students to talk amongst themselves, a lot of times students are more receptive of messages that are coming from their peers. AJ Hill says, I got you, Prime. You need those dogs? I'm going to help you get them. Not that Prime needs help. He doesn't need any help. He doesn't need any help. This is going to be recruitment on steroids, folks. So when he says we're coming, he wasn't just saying that as a gimmick. Now, he didn't say that's for shirts to be made and pullovers to be made. He has a marketing team. Coach Prime has a marketing team that he says certain things. They take his verbiage and they make merchandise. They make merch out of it. I don't think Prime is out there intentionally just saying things to be put on T-shirts. But when he says we're coming, he meant that. So AJ Hill is going to help recruit. And don't think that he's going to be the only one. He's going to be the only one doing that. Other people are going to be doing that as well. Other people are going to be doing that as well. That's how you build team chemistry. See, the chemistry that's lacking with this team, though it has a lot of talent, the current Colorado team, the way it's currently constructed, they have a lot of talent. Sometimes they don't know what to do with all their talent. That's why every now and then there's a different player that shows up underneath the bright lights. That's a good thing, but it's not always good, because most teams that are consistent, they usually have consistent players that are shining every night. That speaks to team chemistry, team camaraderie, and team cohesiveness. But if you keep having different players that are shining every game, it means that you have too much talent and you don't know what your team is. I don't think the Colorado Buffaloes have an identity. Now, they love to pass a lot, but their personnel says otherwise. They have too much talent. Are they a pass team first, or are they a run team first? Now, from what we see, they're a pass team first. But from their personnel, I said it should be a run team first. But then people say, well, they don't have an offensive line. If you commit to it, you can. It's what you commit to. If you don't have an offensive line, then why are you passing so damn much? That means you won't have pass protection. So either, you can make the argument for either one. You can say, hey, don't pass so much. Then if you say, well, they don't have an offensive line, then why are you passing? Then if you don't have an offensive line, then commit to the run just like you're committing to the pass. If Alton McCaskill was Deion Sanders' son, they probably would run the ball more. I would say because Shador is a son of Coach Prime, they're passing more. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking my perspectives and adding my opinion to it. I feel like they have too much talent and they don't know what to do with it. But I'm telling you, these new recruits that are coming in, there's going to be team chemistry. When players start, I'm going to tell you something. When you start having players do the dirty work for you, it's a wrap. It's over with. When AJ Hill says, I'm going to help recruit offensive linemen, he's already bought in. He's already a Buffalo. I want you guys to think about this. He's in high school right now. He should be focusing on getting ready for graduation. He probably has football games coming up. He has classes to go to. He has to wake up in the morning. He has homework to do. He has to train. His world is in high school right now, right? Nah, it's not. His world is already in Boulder. He says, nah, not only am I committed to Colorado, because I saw an interview where he talked about, he sat down with Prime. They had a conversation, and he asked Prime, will you be here? Coach Prime said, yes, I'm not going anywhere. He wanted to make sure that Prime was there. He says, okay, if I know you're going to be here for the foreseeable future, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to help recruit offensive linemen. He didn't directly tell that to Prime, but that's what he said he's going to do. And if you're a top 4 player in the country as a junior, or maybe in the top 4 player in the country in your class, yes, you're going to have a certain degree of credibility and cachet to recruit offensive linemen. You know why? Because players already want to come play for Prime. Then if you have I hate to use the word prime again, but I'm not trying to do it intentionally. It's just coming out of my mouth. But if you have a prime quarterback that has the mentality of a Coach Prime, then his ability to recruit other players is going to be easy. What quarterback would not want to have an offensive line? So not only is he doing Colorado Buffaloes a service, a great service, he's also doing himself a service. It's a self-service. It's selfish in a sense, but it's a good selfishness. I know a lot of the times we hear the word selfishness and we tie a negative connotation to it, but no, he's looking out for himself, but he's also looking out for Colorado Buffaloes, because what quarterback wants to be behind an offensive line that can't block for him? And see, that's to let you know how cerebral and how intuitive and how connected AJ Hill already is to Colorado Buffaloes. He knows that that one of the deficiencies of the team is that their offensive line is not that strong in pass blocking, and perhaps in run blocking as well. What did he say? I'm going to help recruit offensive linemen. Oh, beautiful. I can't wait, guys. So like I said, when bad things happen, I know on the surface it seems like the world's crumbling. It's not crumbling, folks. There's always an opposite energy on the pendulum of life. The pendulum swings back and forth like a seesaw. So whenever you have negative energy or something perceived to be negative, there's another side to it that's positive. It's called harmony. But in our limited capacity to mentally receive things, we normally take things as children. We see what we see in the physical, and we take what we take, and emotionally it drains us, and that handicaps us from having the ability to think outside the box, to think of the other side of the spectrum of what's happening on the other side. Because immediately when that meltdown occurred, I was like, oh my God. But I thought about it. That's what thinking people do. Yes, we have emotions. It's okay to have those emotions, but it's also very, very important to reflect back on what you just saw and then start to think about the possibilities that can extrapolate from that reality that you just witnessed. So watching the game, being emotionally invested into seeing Colorado win, we're all happy. By halftime, they're up by 29 points. Oh, this is going to be an easy win. And all of a sudden, from after halftime, a total meltdown. It's heartbreaking. And I'll be a liar to tell you that I wasn't heartbroken. I wasn't thinking the way I'm thinking now. At the moment, I was like, oh my God, what's wrong with Colorado? Oh my goodness, they just got oh my God. But then after a while, after I sat on it, I thought about it. I started to reflect back about my athletic days. I'm like, hold on. This is not a bad thing. Coach Prime can't lose. In the ultimate grand scheme of things, he's not going to lose. Yes, he loses games. I'm not saying he's going to go undefeated. No, I mean in the grand scheme of things, he just got there. So I started to think, I'm like, you know what? That loss is not that bad. It's actually going to expose Colorado's deficiencies. And it's going to make players want to come there even more. Oh, because if they're already great their first year, players are going to be reluctant to come, because players are going to think to themselves, oh, wait, hold on. They already have, they don't have needs. They don't have any weak points. They're strong in running back. They're strong in quarterback. Their offensive line is legit. Their defensive line is great. Their linebackers are intact. The safeties, the cornerbacks, I mean, they don't need me. Let me just go to a school that needs me. People want to go where they're needed. Prime went to where he was needed. AJ Hill is going to where he's needed. So he knows for a fact. We know that Shedeur is not entering the draft after this year for a fact. He's going to come back next year. And after he leaves for the draft after next year, AJ Hill comes in. So there's not going to be a drop-off in quarterback play. As a matter of fact, it won't be a drop-off. It'll be an increase. I'm not saying that AJ Hill is better than Shedeur. I just mean that his protection will be better than Shedeur. So they're going to have next year to build that offensive line to make it stronger. Then the year that AJ Hill comes, which is the year after next, watch out. Colorado. Oh, my God. They're going to be the big bully on the block. Right now, when Coach Prime said it, if you want to get me, he said, get me now. This is the worst I am going to be. And at the time he said that, I think they were 3-1, 3-2, 3-1. I think, 3-1. Because I know they lost to Oregon and they lost to USC back-to-back. So that made them 3-2. Then they I believe they won their next game. They became 4-2 and they beat Arizona. Yeah, they were 3-1. So his first loss, he's saying to them, this is the worst I'm going to be. That's to let you know the expectation of Coach Prime. His first loss, he's telling people, this is the worst I'm going to be. If you're going to beat me, get me now. Get me now. Woo. Those are strong words. Those words weren't pre-written. He didn't read a script. That came from the soul. Get me now. Get me now. If you want to let me be your piñata today, beat on me today. Because when I come out of the ashes, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Just like in the story of Jesus, they thought he was dead. He rose. They beat him, hung him. He's done. He came out of the grave. It's a wrap. If you want to beat Prime, beat him now. So AJ Hill is coming. So like I told you guys, that loss is not negative. More is coming. More are coming. And one thing that's going to be great about it is that there's going to be a cohort of young athletes that are going to get together. They're going to listen to what I'm telling you. Everything that Coach Prime envisioned is going to happen. Why? Not because he's some magical person. He's a human being like you and I. He has blood in his veins. He breathes the same air we breathe. He goes to the restroom like anybody else. He eats foods like anybody else. I mean, he's mortal. He had his toes amputated. He's not like some godlike figure. He's a human like you and I. But everything that he envisioned is going to come to fruition, because I always told you guys that words are powerful. When you send out certain frequencies into the universe, it comes back to you. When you keep telling yourself that you're great, you do great things. And over time, great things will start to happen to you. If you think that you're ugly or you're despicable, then that's what's going to surround you, because you're putting that out. Whatever you put out is what's within, and what's within comes out, and when it comes out, it goes back within. So you become your worst nightmare. You become the person that's fulfilling the self-prophecy that you're trying to evade because you keep saying it with your mouth. You have to be very careful with what you say. So what I'm telling you about Prime is that when he talks about the team, when he's saying, I don't know if you love it or if you like it, some of you guys are not in love with the game. The players that are coming are going to be in love with the game. You know why? Because they're going to be in love with each other. They're going to have a team, a true team. Not a bunch of talented guys that are just coming through the portal who haven't played with each other. When that guy AJ Hill said, I'm going to help recruit, that right there is all I needed to hear. Because when a player is helping to recruit, he's already building a connection and a bond with the players he's talking with. So before the players get connected to Prime, they're already getting connected with each other. That's what true team is all about. Is the cohesiveness and the connection with the players first. Then the coach is just an added layer to make sure that thing is sealed and tight. So when you have players that are recruiting players, there's already a connection and a bond with the players. So before they even speak to Coach Prime, they're already in together. They don't need Prime to motivate them. They are one without him. When he comes in, he makes it even more solidified. He brings the hammer like Thor, and boom, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm big into human psychology. That's why I get excited about that. When a young athlete says, I got you, I'm going to help recruit, that lets me know right then and there that he's already a selfless quarterback. He's not thinking about himself. He can easily just say, I'm going to come be the next quarterback after Shador leaves, and leave it at that. I'm good. I got my spot. No, he's thinking bigger than himself. He's thinking bigger than himself. He's thinking about the program. He's thinking about making Colorado a bigger name than what it is now. He wants to be a part of something special. He sees what's happening. And if you look online, he's already doing the Shador. He's already doing that. Now, I'm not big into that, but what I'm telling you, that the fact that he's already doing that means that he's bought in. He's bought into what Prime is doing. He's bought into what the Sun is doing. Oh, man. You don't know how excited I was when I heard that. When I heard that, not only I know the recruits are coming. That's not what excited me. What got me over the top was when I heard that he said, I'm going to help recruit offensive linemen. That's going to start a trend. Mark my words. I'm going to come back and make it another video about a defensive lineman coming to Colorado and saying that he's going to help recruit defensive linemen. You see, it's a seed that's planted. It starts to sprout. It starts to metastasize and spread and go around different places. And all of a sudden, you're like, hold on, what's going on? It's the prime effect. It's not so much prime. It's the effect of prime that makes things happen. It's not him alone. One man can only do so much. But it's the inspiration that he instills inside people that makes what he's doing bigger than him. It's not even about prime. I don't want people to get this misconstrued. It's not even about prime. The fact that I'm making this video about Coach Prime lets you know the power of prime. It's not about him. It's about the message. It's about the aura, the confidence without apology, the unapologetic confidence that he has. It rubs people the wrong way, but it's okay. It's okay. You're gonna get that negative energy, and like I said, it's harmony. Goes back to that yin and yang principle. You can't have one without the other. It's called law of duality. With every good, there's an evil. Evil would not exist without good, and good would not exist without evil. You need both constructs to make it a reality. If you have too much of one, there's an imbalance. You lack equilibrium. You need both. So all the hating that's coming against Prime, it's needed because he's that great. The greater the man, the greater the hate. If the hate was not elevated as much as the greatness of Prime, then there's something wrong. That means that Coach Prime is a fraudulent person. But the fact that the hate is consistent, that he's real. Look at your religious texts. Look what happened to Jesus Christ, the greatest human being that's ever lived, according to the text. And he got the greatest shame of a person that ever lived. It comes with the territory, folks. It's called energy inversion, energy reciprocation. If you bring out positive energy, you're going to get negative energy back. It does not mean that it's your fault. It's just the way the universe operates. It's kind of like the law of gravity. You can't just say, oh, get rid of it. No, it's here. It is what it is. You cannot escape it. Quantum physics tells you that. So whatever Prime is doing, he's going to get the hate. And even AJ Hill, even what he's doing, he's going to get the hate. I mean, even after his highlight reel on YouTube, you had people talking about, oh, his velocity is horrible, and I don't know what the hype is all about. That's okay. But for some reason, he's looked upon as the fourth best player in the country, either the fourth best quarterback in his class or the fourth best quarterback overall as a junior. I don't know which one it is, but either way, he's in the top 5 out of all the high schools in the country. Yet you still have people saying that, still breaking down and critiquing his game. But it's okay. I don't call that hate, as I told you guys earlier. It's okay. It comes with the territory. It's par for the course. You can't escape that. That's just part of human existence. You're going to get that. Just like the beautiful girl who walks into school, she's going to get hate. The beauty attracts the hate. The more beautiful she is, the more hate. If she was not that beautiful, there wouldn't be that much hate. The greater you are, the greater the hate, or the greater the critique. It is what it is. And that's what happens. But again, AJ Hill is coming. A lot of other players are going to be coming. And I'm making a prediction right now. I truly believe that other players are going to be helping to recruit. Prime's recruiting job won't be that hard. I think that the hardest part of his recruit was his first year. See, when you plant a seed of greatness, when a tree starts to grow, once the seed is planted, once the roots are dug in, you don't need to do much. Once the roots are dug in and starts to grab the microbes from the soil, starts to fuel itself, you don't need to water it anymore. Nature takes its course. Nature just takes care of everything else. So nature is going to take its course with Colorado. Trust me, the scene is nice. It's like heaven. The mountains are there. I foresee a shift in NCAA. Just like the power that Alabama was for so many years and the power that Nebraska was back in the days in college football, I feel like the shift is going to occur. Colorado, for about 2 decades, or at least a decade, is going to dominate college football. Mark my words. Please mark my words. They're going to dominate college football. Prime's going to change Boulder forever. The reason why I'm excited is because I'm here at the inaugural stages of it. I'm here at the inception of it. I can always say I was part of this, meaning that I was part of the audience that watched the formation of greatness unfold right before our eyes. I was right there to see it. And you guys are right there to see it as well. It's coming. He's coming. He's coming. The Buffaloes are coming. Mark my words. I can't wait. Can't wait till they play the next game. I have my eyes glued to them because I feel like we're watching something supernatural occur. When I say supernatural, I don't mean about people levitate or defying gravity or defying the laws of physics. I'm talking about something unfolding in a spiritual realm that's going to have these kids psychologically interconnected. When a kid that's 15 years old commits to a team that just lost the lead, you can't tell me that's not something that's not normal. You're not supposed to want to go there. Oh, they're all about, what did that Oregon coach say? They're all about clicks. We're about substance. Nah. Prime is about substance. Don't get it misconstrued. Believe it or not, don't think that Coach Prime is a player's coach. He's more Nick Saban than he is the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, Mike Tomlin. A lot of people call Mike Tomlin a player's coach. No. Coach Prime is not that. He's not a player's coach at all. He is old school. Don't let the hoodie and the glasses and his verbiage fool you like he's some kind of coolie buddy with the players. No, he is much, I would go as far and say he's worse than Nick Saban. Do you know how hard he disciplines his players? He's more Nick Saban. Don't get it misconstrued. Don't think that he's some African-American hip black guy that he's out there just, oh, I'm a player's coach. No, he's old school. Now, yeah, he can relate with his players. He can connect with them in ways that other coaches can't connect with their athletes, but he's not a player's coach. He's not a guy that's going to make it palatable and easy for a player to get it. Remember, he said in a conference, in a press conference one day, they were asking him a question about Cormani, and he says, "No, I have a standard. He's going to have to change before I change. I'm not changing anything. My expectations are what they are. So if anything's going to change, he's going to have to change." That's a bullheaded coach. That's a Nick Saban type mentality. So don't get this idea that you see, Coach Prime and Nick Saban doing these Aflac commercials, and you think that that's a representation of two polar opposite coaches and two polar opposite guys that operate on two different systems. No, they're the same guy. They're just in different skin tones. One's a white American and one's a black American. But believe it or not, Coach Prime is more Nick Saban than he is, some buddy coach. He doesn't play. If you guys have ever seen the footage on YouTube where he was at Jackson State, and I think he went into the locker room. I think some guys were on their cell phone. He ripped into them. He ripped into them so hard, without cursing. He didn't curse. He ripped into them so bad that at the end of it, when he walked off, he says, "If I ever see that," he was yelling. He was like really, really yelling. He's like, "If I see anybody with a phone line," he was like, "Well, you already know what's going to happen." He walked off. That means that if he saw that again, you're going to be off the team. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter who you are. This is a guy that benched his own son for being late. How old? So he's not showing favoritism here. His own son, he benched him for being late. So, yeah, I like what I hear with A.J. Hill, 6'5", junior, out of, I don't know what high school he's from, but great athlete, great touch. He can run, but he doesn't choose. He doesn't want to run. He can run. He's big and tall. He's athletic enough to run, but he stays in the pocket intentionally. Kind of reminds me of what Shedeur does. Even though Shedeur has the ability to run, he's not a running quarterback, but he has the ability to do so because of his athleticism. But he would rather stay in the pocket, and that's what I see with A.J. Hill. A.J. Hill is just another version of Shedeur. Is he Shedeur? No, I'm not saying that at all. He still has a long way to go. The guy's 15 freaking years old. So he hasn't even grown into his man body yet. Imagine when that happens. It's going to be scary. And when he goes to a team that has professional athletes that work out with the quarterback and the skill coaches, and once he gets acclimated with better coaching, because right now he's operating off of raw talent. He's 6'5", and he's able to do things that other quarterbacks can't do, hence him being ranked number 4 in the country. So once he gets there and gets the great coaching from Prime's coaching staff, sky's the limit for Colorado. This is just the quarterback position, folks. Every other position is going to get great skill players. And mind you, Cormani is still there. Remember, he was the number 1 recruit. He came, and he's not even hardly playing. But that's a good thing. He's going to be hungry next year. He's not going anywhere. A lot of people are saying that Cormani should leave because he's not playing that much. No. If Cormani's an athlete and wants to compete, he'll stay there to prove to himself. Not prove to Prime that he can play, but prove to himself, because Prime pushes you to the limit. He wants you to be the best version of yourself. He's going to make it uncomfortable for you. Yeah, you went to high school and you were the king of your high school because you were able to do certain things and you got away with a lot. But when you come play with Prime, he said this in a press conference. He said, "I don't care about your stars. I don't care if you're a 5-star. Once you get here, the stars go away." You know why the stars go away? Because everybody that's coming to Colorado is going to be good and great. You have to start from square one, and you have to do it the Prime way. You have to do it his way. All right? So Cormani's just going through some growing pains, but he's going to play more next year. He's just a freshman. He still has many more years to play. And I'm just excited to what I see happening with Colorado right now. That recruit, AJ Hill, and he's him putting that bug into the ears of people that are listening, saying that, hey, I'm gonna help recruit. I'm gonna help recruit some offensive linemen. So think about this. When they get recruits to come there, recruits are going to be recruiting players that are going to help them. So I foresee. So for instance, if they recruit a top defensive end, right? Hypothetically speaking, let's just say Colorado recruits a top defensive end. What helps the defensive end's job easier? By getting great defensive tackles. You know why? Because you can't double the defensive end that's great. You're gonna be forced to contend with that D tackle, with the D tackle, right? So it's kind of like pick your poison. You can either double me or face the wrath of the D tackle, or double the D tackle and face my wrath. So you see, whatever top player they get, that top player is gonna get somebody that's gonna be complementary to their position. A quarterback needs the offensive line to complement their skill set. A defensive end needs the defensive tackle to be great to make his job easier, and vice versa. If they get the defensive tackle, see, these are kids that know football. They already have a football acumen. Like I told you guys before, the mini primes are coming. The mini Deons are coming. He's not going to need to do much. He's going to just be sitting on the sideline with his hands folded, with his hoodie on, with his shades on. I don't need to do anything. I got my primes out there. My mini primes are out there. My mini Deons are out there. I got guys that have my same mentality. They might not have my same talent, but they have my same mentality. And once he has that, it's a wrap, folks. So again, the video that I made before, and I talked about the meltdown being a good thing, it's coming to fruition because AJ Hill, who was actually at the game, committed after the game. He didn't commit to anybody. He was leaning towards the other big schools. After he saw what he saw, I told you guys, when athletes see that, they feel like, hey here. When I get there, that's not going to happen. Guess who had that kind of mentality? Coach Prime. There was a game, and I'm going to end with this. I didn't even mean for this video to be this long. There was a game in the NFL. I don't know who it was. I think it was against Washington or something like that. I think it was, I don't know. Look it up. Deion's team was getting beat in the NFL. And there was a punt. There was a kickoff. There was a punt. No, it was kickoff. The opposing team was kicking off the ball. Prime goes to the sideline. He was not the kickoff returner at the time. He told the guy that normally receives the kickoff, he says, man, guy, I got this. I'm going to go. He puts himself in. Now, I don't know, you can say he was being insubordinate. He wasn't following the coach's call, but hey, he threw himself in there. Got the ball and ran it in for a touchdown. It's like a 90-something yard kickoff return. Why do I make that point? I make that point because Deion was so pissed off that his team wasn't doing well. He was like, man, F this. Give me the ball. That's the Prime mentality. So when you have an athlete that's watching a meltdown, a team melt down, a 29-point lead by halftime, and an athlete says, man, F that, screw that. Give me the ball. I want to go there now and make a change now. That's the Prime effect. That's a Prime mentality. The guy was in the NFL. Deion Sanders said, nah, to hell with that, man. Get the hell out. I got this. I'm gonna return this kickoff. Now, I'm not saying that you're not good enough, you're good, but I'm gonna put it in my hands. I'm gonna put the team on my back. I'm sick of what's going on our team. I can't play defense, but I can affect the offensive side of the ball. I mean, he played defense, he played DB, but I mean, he can't play all the defensive positions, and he cannot play all the offensive positions. So he says, how can I impact this game? You know what? I have speed. That guy that's running the kickoffs back, he's doing okay. Let me see what I can do. That's the ultimate confidence that this guy Prime has in himself. And when you start to get athletes that have that type of mentality, it's over with, folks. Mark my words. When you have people that think like the coach doesn't need to do anything else. The team takes care of itself. The team becomes a self-regenerating machine, meaning that whenever there's problems, the team checks itself. When NFL talks about, hey, the Don't draft this player to this team because this team doesn't have a strong locker room. You got to draft this player. This player can go to this team. Just like the kid that, I think his name is Carter, something Carter. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a defensive lineman. I remember him coming out of Georgia. He had some question marks about him. Some question marks about his character. And so what they were saying is that he needs to go to a team with a strong locker room. Coach Prime is going to have a strong locker room. Not because of Coach Prime. Well, it's because of him. But the kind of players that are going to be coming to play for Colorado are going to have Coach Prime's mentality. So there's no need to micromanage your team, to have oversight. Your team will have its own oversight. When you get to that level, that's when you become a powerhouse. Meaning that it's plug and play. It becomes plug and play. Plug and play. Certain players just come. Certain players just get attracted to go there. They already know the expectations. It's going to be hard work, dedication, be fast. But what does Coach Prime say? We want kids with speed. We want kids that are fast. We want kids that are smart. We want kids that are disciplined. What do you think is happening right now, folks? Right now they do have that, but it's scattered in different pockets. And it's just their first year. They're still trying to learn how to play with each other. There's no true chemistry there yet. It's forming. Through the ups and downs, chemistry is formed. I believe that through conflict is when chemistry is formed. I don't think that going through a season without any opposition or any adversarial circumstances makes you stronger. It actually makes you weaker because you become a victim to your own success. You start seeking comforts. But when you have an injury to one of your top players with a lacerated liver, then one of your children has a damaged kidney where he's peeing blood, and you have Shador, who almost gets concussed when he gets slammed to the ground by that Colorado State defensive lineman. I mean, they've been through it all. They've been through the ringer. They've gotten the hate. They've been through it all. This is part of the growing pains. Expect that, because greatness is coming. If they weren't going through anything, then you should question where Colorado is going. They're going to go somewhere great. All the hate and all the negative things that they're getting, all the critique, is going to be balanced out by all the greatness. It has to balance out. That's the law of the universe, folks. You don't get great opposition without another opposing, counterpart to that makes it connect to bring harmony to everything, to make it whole. So it's coming, folks. It's coming, and I'm excited. All right, thank you guys for listening. And if you like the video, you can subscribe. I'll occasionally come on here and just talk sports. Sometimes it's not about Colorado. Sometimes it will be about Colorado. But thank you guys for supporting me, and thank you guys for leaving comments. And I just love to see great things, and I love to be part of something that's happening. And I can actually grow up and tell my kids that I saw this happening with this guy called Coach Prime, how he came into a team that was 1-11 and made a turnaround. These are things that movies are made of. These are things that people go into the producers. They go to producers and they go to directors to find filmmakers to make movies like this. And I'm so happy to see, not just because he's a black coach. I just like his swag. He's different. He's not the typical coach, but he is the typical coach. He just has a different framing of it. That's the part that's tricky. You think he's all about flash? He's more than that. He's flash and substance. Coach Prime is like, I could do both. I'm not just all about. I'm about substance and flash. He played that way. You remember the Deion step when he would do the Deion? He played that way, but he was disciplined as well. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. All right, till next time. All right, bye-bye.